this is exciting, isn't it? I'm on the beginning of this one. Right, okay, so I'm going to run through the Translessay. I've altered it ever so slightly since the lesson. So you've got the final version now that's on the paper. So I'm going to run through how I've translated it for you to get basically the most accurate translation on your notes. Make sure you write down everything we've gone through, correct whatever you've written, make any extra notes that you want to, okay? And I think I'm going to take myself off here now. Right, okay. So here we go. So we've got Wie verändert sich Ill im Laufe des Stücks? So we're talking about how Ill changes in the course of the play. So at the beginning of the play, Ill is very popular. So that's a nice, straightforward. Panic over. That's a nice, straightforward present tense for us. So am Anfang, sorry, des Stücks ist Ill sehr beliebt. And I've used des Stücks, which is genitive, to say of the play. So he should be the next mayor. So we know that soll der nächste Bürgermeister sein. And I've used soll there because he's supposed to be. Okay, and soll as a modal then with our sein at the end. So he's supposed to be the next mayor. And he has, right, I've just stuck this quote in, long been the most popular character in Güllen. So, und ist schon seit langem die beliebteste Persönlichkeit Güllens. And that's our quote there, straight into the essay. He is part of the preparations of Claire's welcome. So ist Teil der Vorbereitungen. So I've used genitive again there. So he's part of der, so that's genitive plural, because our Vorbereitungen are plural. They are preparations. So he's part of the preparations of Claire's welcome, which is von Claire's Begrüßung. So we've used the word Begrüßung there for her welcome. And the Gülleners are confident. Und die Güllener sind sicher. Nice and straightforward, present tense. Dass Claire überzeugen wird, that he will persuade Claire. So we've got das sending our wird to the end, and we've got a straightforward future tense there. Wird Claire überzeugen. He will persuade her. Right then, to donate money to the town. Geld an die Stadt zu spenden. And reminding you there that spenden is the word for donate, even though obviously it looks like it should mean spend, doesn't it? And you spend money an something like an organization, and then you use the accusative. So that's why we've got Geld an die Stadt zu spenden. Il is arrogant and sure that he can charm Claire. So, Il ist arrogant und sicher, and there's our comma starting with das, then our subordinating conjunction, sending our verb to the end, dass Claire bezaubern kann, so that he can charm her, literally bewitch her, okay? All right, let's move down. He uses the names that they called each other when they had a relationship. So, benutzt die Namen, nice and straightforward, right, die sie einander nannten, which they named each other. Die sie einander nannten when they had a relationship. Now we're using als then because we're talking about when in time. So als sie eine Liebesbeziehung hatten, and we're using the word Liebesbeziehung rather than just Beziehung because we want to make it clear that it's a romantic relationship. It's a love relationship, isn't it? And the example there is Little Wildcat because he called her Wildkätzchen. So wie Wildkätzchen. Claire, however, is blunt and direct and tells Il he has become fat and boozy. And then we've got another quote there. So, jedoch ist Claire unverblümt, which is a lovely word for blunt, und direkt und sagt Il, er sei dick und versoffen geworden. Dick und versoffen is our quote, and I've used sei to do the reported speech. I've used subjunctive there because I'm reporting what Claire has said. So das sagt sei dick und soffen geworden. He has become. Okay, when Claire offers Gullen a billion mark for Il's death, the town is outraged. So, als again for our when. So, als Claire Gullen eine Milliarde Mark für Il's Tod bietet, so when she offers this money, ist die Stadt empört. So, the town is appalled, it's outraged. And the mayor rejects the offer on behalf of the town. So, und der Bürgermeister lehnt das Gebot, right? We've got a separable verb here. So you'll see that you've got lehnt in the first part, and then our second part, im Namen der Stadt ab. Because to reject is ablehnen. So der Bürgermeister lehnt das Gebot im Namen der Stadt, in the name of the town, ab. Okay, let's move us down a little bit before we do the next part. Right, the viewers, as well as the Gulliner, have found out that Il left Claire when she was pregnant and that he bribed two witnesses to say they'd slept with her. Okay, so the viewers, as well as the Gulliner, I'll pop the S on that a bit later. So, die Zuschauer sowie auch die Güllener, so as well as, have found out, and I've used perfect tense there, haben herausgefunden, with our separable herausgefunden, that Il left Claire, dass Il Claire gelassen hat, the das sending our hat to the end, when she was pregnant, als, again for our when, als sie schwanger war, and that he bribed two witnesses, und dass zwei Zeugen bestochen hat. So bestochen being our past participle from bestechen. So hat zwei Zeugen bestochen. To say, zu sagen, dass sie mit ihr geschlafen hätten. And I'm using the hätten again there for the subjunctive for that reported speech that they said they had slept with her. And yet he is still confident at the end of Act 1 that the town will stand by him. Und trotzdem, so despite this, yet, ist immer noch sicher. He's still certain, he's still confident, he's still sure. Am Ende des ersten Aktes, so at the end of the first act, or even am Ende vom Act 1, you could have said, that the town will stand by him, dass die Stadt zu ihm halten wird. We can say that they will stand by, and in German you can say that they'll hold to him. Okay, so we know that he has acted both illegally and immorally. So wir wissen, and another das, dass beide illegal und unmoralisch gehandelt hat. Okay, and spot that that's unmoralisch rather than immoralisch. But he still believes in his own popularity. Aber glaubt immer noch an, because we glauben an things to believe in them, glaubt immer noch an seine eigene Beliebtheit. Okay, an seine eigene Beliebtheit. Il starts to change as his situation changes. So Il beginnt sich zu ändern, als seine Situation sich ändert. So he begins to change, reflexive, als seine Situation sich ändert, again reflexive there, as his situation changes. Okay, at the start of Act 2, Il believes that the Gulliners will support him. Am Anfang von Act 2, glaubt Il, dass die Güllner ihn unterstützen werden. So he thinks, so am Anfang von Act 2, actually you don't need that comma there, glaubt Il, dass die Güllner ihn unterstützen werden. So he thinks that they will support him. Unterstützen for support. He says, the town will stand by me. And there's the quote from the play. Sagt, die Stadt steht zu mir. So the town will stand by me. But gradually, he notices how the Gulliners start to buy luxury goods on credit. So, aber allmählich, gradually, allmählich merkt he notices, wie die Gulliner anfangen, how the Gulliners start, Luxuswaren auf Kredit zu kaufen. So, Luxuswaren auf Kredit zu kaufen. Okay. Dürrenmatt shows this through the yellow shoes which the Gulliners buy. So let's have a look. Dürrenmatt zeigt das, so he shows this, durch die gelben Schuhe, die die Gulliner kaufen. So you need the D for the witch, and then you need the D for the Gulliner. So die Gulliner kaufen. Okay, so in Act 2, in Act 2, Il becomes less and less convinced the Gulliners will support him. Well, let's have a look. So wird Il immer weniger überzeugt. So he becomes ever less convinced, immer weniger überzeugt, dass die Gulliner ihn unterstützen werden, that the Gulliners will support him. Okay? And tells the mayor und sagt dem Bürgermeister. So what does he say to? They've got the dative there. Er sagt dem Bürgermeister because he says to the mayor. You are speculating with my death. Sie spekulieren mit meinem Tod. And remember that spekulieren is to literally speculate with money in the hopes of making money. Okay, initially he is angry and he attempts to defend himself and to get help. So am Anfang ist er zornig, he's angry und er versucht sich zu verteidigen and he tries to defend himself und Hilfe zu bekommen and to get help. So he tells the priest, I am looking for help. There's our quote. Er sagt dem Pfarrer, ich suche Hilfe. Okay? So Il tries to flee, but the Gulleners don't let him get on the train. So Il versucht zu fliehen, aber die Gullener lassen ihn nicht in den Zug steigen. So they don't let him get onto the train. And at this point, at the end of Act 2, Il says, I am lost. An diesem Punkt, am Ende vom Akt 2, sagt Il, ich bin verloren. And that's a quote again out of the play. Ich bin verloren, I'm lost. Okay, Il accepts his fate. Il akzeptiert seine Schicksal. He realized that he has, and again we've got a quote here, made clear what she is. So erkennt, dass Claire zu dem gemacht, was sie ist. Actually, we're going to need to put zu dem gemacht hat, was sie ist. I'll come back at the end and add our hat in. Okay, he finally knows. Weiß endlich, that he must atone for his sins. So, dass für seine Sünden büßen muss. And we've looked at that expression, haven't we? To atone for your sins. Für die Sünden büßen. And to take responsibility for his behavior. Und Verantwortung für sein Benehmen tragen muss. So we say to take it. In German, you're going to say to carry it. So, with this change, Il becomes the most moral person in Gullen. Mit dieser Veränderung wird Il die moralischste Person Güllens. And it is he that stops the teacher from telling the press the truth. Und ist es, der den Lehrer davon abhält. So he holds the teacher literally back from it. He stops him doing it. Die Presse die Wahrheit zu sagen. So he holds the teacher back from telling the press the truth. Okay? Il realizes that the only way to atone for his sins is to accept the verdict of the Gulleners. So Il erkennt, dass der einzige Weg, für seine Sünden zu büßen, ist das Urteil der Gullener zu akzeptieren. So, dass der einzige Weg, für seine Sünden zu büßen, ist das Urteil der Gullener zu akzeptieren. Remember that das Urteil der Gullener is the verdict of the Gulleners again, which is genitive, and you're finishing with a zu form there, zu akzeptieren. And with that also Claire's version of justice. Und damit auch Claire's Version der Gerechtigkeit. Okay? Right, the mayor initially said that the Gulleners would be better poor than bloodstained, and that's our quote, isn't it? Der Bürgermeister sagte am Anfang, dass die Gullener besser arm als blutbefleckt wären. And there's our subjunctive again for our reported speech. So besser arm als blutbefleckt is actually a quote. So we can put that actually in inverted commas. And wären is our subjunctive again to report what he said. But when they collectively decide to take Claire's money, they become not just rich, but also bloodstained. Aber als sie entscheiden, so when they make that decision, when they decide, Claire's Geld zu nehmen, to take her money, werden sie, and I've used nicht nur, sondern auch hier, so werden sie nicht nur reich, sondern auch blutbefleckt. Okay? So this means that Il becomes the hero of the play. Das bedeutet, dass Il der Held des Stücks wird. So genitive there again, the hero of the play, and wird, he becomes, sent to the end from the das. As he is now the only person who acts morally. Da jetzt die einzige Person ist, die moralisch behandelt. Okay? And then we've got another quote, because he says, you can kill me, I won't complain or protest or defend myself, but I won't take your deed away from you. So we've taken that straight from our play. Sagt, ihr könnt mich töten, ich klage nicht, protestiere nicht, wehre mich nicht, aber euer Handel kann ich euch nicht abnehmen. And then we've got, in doing this, Il makes all the Gulleners guilty, and he becomes the victim, allowing him to be saved. So, indem das macht, so in doing this, macht, macht il alle Güllene schuldig. We'll have to stick our il in there at the end as well. Make sure you've got an il in there. Macht il alle Güllene schuldig. Und wird Opfer. And he becomes the victim. Wird Opfer. Was ihm erlaubt. Now, the was is referring back to the fact that he's become a victim. Was ihm erlaubt, gerettet zu werden. So, which allows him to be saved. Gerettet is our past participle there. Saved, gerettet zu werden. And that werden to be. Remember that we're using passive there because the people who are doing the saving are not in the sentence, are they? So we're passive for that. Okay, Il does not choose to go through this change, but the fact that he does means that at the end of the play, Il is the most moral person in Gullen. So, Il will nicht diese Verwandlung durchzulaufen. He doesn't choose to go through this transformation, if you like. But the fact that he does, aber die Tatsache, dass das macht, the fact that he does, bedeutet, dass am Ende des Stücks Il die moralischste Person Gullens ist. That he is the most moral person in Gullen. Auch wenn am Anfang der unmoralischste war. So even if at the beginning of the play he was the most immoral. Okay, so there's lots and lots of vocab in that. Do you make sure that you've corrected that all nicely? Have a look at it. If you've got any questions about it, anything that doesn't make sense or anything that you have written a different way and you just want to bring that up, then give me a shout, email me, catch me in the next lesson, bring it up in class. Otherwise, if you're happy with that, go through it with your highlighter. And just highlight the phrases and the stuff that you would actually want to use, potentially to learn to use in your own essays. If you look down here, you'll see that actually the whole thing's 1,042 words. So you could have best part of 500 words there, and you only need 350 for your essay. So there's way more than you would actually need to write this kind of essay. All right, so you can go through that with a highlighter and be a little bit more critical about what you want to take and what you don't. Okay, well done.